At 10 a.m. the 15th of January 1947. Barry Brissinger, a housewife family, while walking along Norton Avenue in Los Angeles, has discovered a strange humanoid object. It's on an empty lot on the side of the road. When I first saw it, Betty said that the Kia object was so white, she thought it was a mannequin. But when we looked more closely, she just realized that it's the naked body of a dead girl. Betty immediately called and notified the local government. Hi, it's me again. And I'm going to tell you about the case today. Real black pharmacy. Extremely famous. It happened in 1947. So far, the killer hasn't been found. The body found was that of Elizabeth Short, or more commonly known about the real name Black Medicine. Maybe it's because she has curly black hair and the black clothes that she used to wear. Her body was cut into at the waist, and there's some small parts of her body. It's also been mutilated, despite being brutally murdered and disfigured. The body of Elizabeth didn't have a trace of blood. What this means is that I cleaned this body thoroughly before leaving it at Norton Avenue. At the scene, the unsub left behind a bloody sack, the same footprints between the car's wheel tracks near the crime scene. Police department in Los Angeles was able to identify the body of Elizabeth Short thanks to her fingerprints. An autopsy, the 16th of January 1947, was done on Elizabeth's body. The marks on her body suggest that this poor woman is bound and savage torture, and the cause of her death was asphyxiation and brain hemorrhage. The police then began an investigation, with hope there will be more information about the accident. More than Elizabeth moved to Los Angeles in July 1946, and she worked as a waiter while trying to become an actor in Hollywood. And during that time, you have found your ideal partner. That's Matt Gordon, an Air Force officer. They both promised to be married when you come back from the war. But the promise, it's just words that don't get done. When Matt was killed, you can never be reunited with your loved one. Elizabeth was in great distress. Lock yourself in the room and mourn for his lover. Suffering after the death of a lover, Elizabeth, to start plunging headlong into one-night stands with any man she meets. The last person to see Elizabeth Short alive, it's Robert Manley. She is also a lover of her. The 1st of September 1947, Robert was driving. Take Elizabeth to the Biltmore Hotel in Los Angeles. They said goodbye at 18:30. And that was the last time Manley saw Elizabeth. What happened in a week's time since Elizabeth came to the Biltmore Hotel until her body is discovered? It's still an unsolved mystery. We can only be sure of one thing. In those 7 days, Elizabeth had a fateful meeting with the killer who took his life. In the 24th of January 1947, a suspicious letter has been sent to the Los Angeles surveyors. The letter included a letter. It's written in letters. It's cut out of newspapers. And some of the other stuff is written by hand, along with Elizabeth's personal items. Short includes birth certificate, business cards, pictures, different names written on a piece of paper, and an address book. All of these things have been sanitized and thoroughly with gasoline, the same way Elizabeth's body was washed. According to the police, then it's more likely that this letter came from the unsub. Police also contacted about 75 people, are the names appeared in Elizabeth's address book. But most of them are just acquaintances. Just by Elizabeth. And I have no close relationship with you. After examining Elizabeth's body, the authorities believe that the culprit is the heir that has knowledge in medicine. So the police questioned people at medical school. USC, a place located close to the site Elizabeth's body was found. But after the inquiries and the searches, they haven't been able to find anything that can help let the investigation go further. Even though our efforts to find out the truth are fading away, but the interest of the insect for this story has not been abated. The murder yet. Elizabeth Short's answer. It was inspiring. For content of so many different books and movies. His most famous book is The Black Dahlia. It's a fantasy novel published in 2008. It's based on Elizabeth's case. While the real pharmaceutical case, Black, has not been solved, there's a lot of theories about who might have done this. This crime is brought up. A large number of people actually came to confess to this crime. But most of these confessions have all been proven wrong. The truth about why this effect happens. When there is quantity, people who have actually confessed to the crime, evil that they don't do. I can also think of a few reasons. Investigators of the police departments of the United States, we believe that innocent people, I almost never confess to a crime, evil that they don't do, but these cases are still quite common. In the 1990s, when DNA technology started to be used to be able to accurately identify the criminals, the researchers were able to show, for 3 reasons as follows. The first is the innocent. It is possible to voluntarily confess to a crime that I didn't do, to attract attention. Second, those who were arrested by aggressive and angry investigators will confess to the crime just to end the intense interrogation that they're going through. These confessions are called confessions, wrong compliance, and finally, the psychological problems. While in the process of being interrogated, who are being interrogated, in a moment, will be completely convinced that I am the one responsible for the crime. This is the black drug case. After being widely known to the public, at that time, when newsrooms compete to write dissecting articles about this story, there were hundreds of people have come to confess to this crime. And there's a lot of these people. It's not even identifiable. Elizabethan close-up photos. This case is still unsolved. After all those confessions, there are authors of crime stories. It shows a lot of similarities. The black drug case, the murder of Clifton Torso, happened in the 1900s Persia to 1900 BA8. When the manner of murder of this murderer, it also includes dissection, cut and disfigure the victim's body. There are many suspects. He is suspected of being the real perpetrator of the crime. Black drugs, including Leslie Dillon. He was a 27-year-old hotel employee. It's an ambitious writer, and was a late employee of a funeral service. Became a suspect when he sent a letter to the psychologist, Paul the River, of the Los Angeles Police Department. In October 1948, Leslie expressed a desire to be able to write a book. The case of Elizabeth Short. At the same time, they also show their true nature. His perversion and violence. Leslie suspected that her friend, Jeff Connors, is the perpetrator. But after the correspondence, the River psychologist believes that Leslie Dillon, it was the one who actually caused Elizabeth's death. The two then agreed to meet to talk more about this case. It's about finding Jeff Connors, the suspect in Leslie's theory. On this trip forward, the River was accompanied with an undercover cop named O'Mara, pretend to be a driver, as well as protecting the River. On a trip to find Jeff Connors, the River believes this person doesn't even exist. It's reinforced by the idea that Leslie Dillon, he is the real culprit, where he shared a lot of information, details that only the killer, Elizabeth Short, could have known. He also seems to be very knowledgeable about the surrounding area, where Elizabeth's body was found. Then, Leslie Dillon was taken to the Los Angeles police station and was interrogated by Dr. the River. The police found Jeff Connors. His real name is R.T. Lane. He was in Los Angeles at the time of the murder, and he was working at the Columbia studio at the time, a place Elizabeth used to go. Leslie Dillon was finally released. The police could not find any specific evidence, as well as Leslie's activities around the time of the murder. Leslie Dillon was not in court because of some document mistakes. That's led many theorists to believe that The black drug case never happened. Now solved. Because the police covered it up. There are many details that show that the perpetrator was an anatomist, or at least have a good knowledge of the field. Because of the double sawing, it was found on Elizabeth's body. Too neat. Only someone in the industry can do that. However, after the investigation, then neurosurgery is related to. Elizabeth has an alibi. George Hotel was born in the 10th of October 1907. Growing up in Los Angeles, California. Very smart and well-educated. With an IQ of 186. You've met a lot of cats, though. Dad related to private life. Expelled from the university for going to bed with his professor's wife. My dad is having sex with his own daughter. I have 4 wives in my life. Before dying in 1999 at the age of 91. About 2016. A retired detective for the Los Angeles Police Department. Detective Steve Hodel. I found suspicious evidence about my father. It's George Hodel. You believe that? My father was the perpetrator in the black drug case. Considering his father's property, Steve found a photo album. It is hidden in one. The box was small enough to fit in the palm of his hand. It feels like you've discovered something. He read it. It's filled with very ordinary pictures. George's mother and brother, as well as family portraits. But in the back, something hit him in the eye. 2 pictures of a young woman. Her eyes looked down with curly black hair. After careful observation, he realized that these pictures are very similar to Elizabeth's short black pharmacy. After further investigation, Steve also knew that in 1947, George Hodel is also on the list. One of the prime suspects in this case. The crime scene photos show Short has been surgically removed. A body cutting procedure below the lumbar spine. The only location that the body can be cut in half without breaking a bone. It's also a technique that was taught in the 1930s, when George Hodel was in medical school. Letters sent to the press and police from Hung. The player also has a similarity. It's like George's handwriting. There were about 8 at the time. It has also been confirmed that George and Elizabeth also had a relationship in 1946 and 2003. At the District Attorney's Office archives, Los Angeles, they found a tape. It's got George Hodel's voice. The accompanying documents show that it was 1950. He is still a suspect in the real case. George's house in Hollywood was bugged by the Los Angeles Police Department. On that tape, George said something like this. Let's say I'm the one who actually killed Black Squid. Then now, they can't prove it either. Then they can't interrogate my secretary anymore, because she's dead. They know I'm hiding something. But it doesn't matter anymore. She's been killed. Maybe I killed my secretary. The hotel was also suspected, was the perpetrator in Louis Springer's murder. In June 1949, Steve Holden was also suspicious. Was before Asia and the 1940s. George Holden killed 10 young women, including actress John Spangler. He disappeared in 1949. Looking for a way to break the thigh in your belly. Steve said that at the time. Your father's uncle, the only doctor in Los Angeles, performed the CAs of thigh abortion. The details of the murders in Los Angeles that led Steve to another string of murders in Chicago. Then, that led him to the murder of a 28-year-old woman. Her name is Lucila Lalu, who has a body without a piece of mutilated cloth. Very similar to Elizabeth Short's body. Your body was found littering a short distance from George's house, about half a mile, along a street called the Zodiac. That's right. At this point, Steve found a lot of connections between the unsub of the black drug and the Zodiac killer. I'm afraid this will go too far. Then people won't believe what you say. This story is going to be crazy. Murder of black medicine and murder. Zodiac is a sow. And that man is your father. Steve believes that my father committed the murders inside or near the family home, at that time. Steve said, "This house has a secret room that George banned his brothers. Don't go in there. It is suspected that the bodies may have been nearby." Steve Hodel returned to this house in 2012 with a business dog. The dog recognized the corpse's breath, decomposed in many areas, and when a soil sample is taken for analysis, by the end of the year, the results showed that it's positive for human remains. A lot of people have followed and support the hypothesis, almost exactly that of Detective Steve Hodel. There are also many people who specialize in detective work, and the law even after 75 so far. There is no end yet. Officially for the case, Real Black Pharmacy, the man who killed Elizabeth Short, most likely dead by now, and will never be punished. Punishment of the law. But for Steve Hodel, the culprit has been found. And whether you believe in it or not, it will depend on public opinion.